Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going through my AFLW fantasy trades for round 8, in which we are going a little bit poddish, I would say, given just with everything so tight at the top. You do have to make or break, so I probably will finish out. There's a chance I finish outside the top 100 just based on this move in particular, one of the moves at least. But I think there's sometimes a need to create a little bit of chaos to a certain extent. And that can be done through, I guess, just grabbing up different forwards there. I think I said in the trade targets video that was the best line to go differential with. And for me, that's where I'm really looking at, as there's probably an opportunity there to at least have someone a point of difference in there. But anyway, let's just jump into this video. So as you can see, if I do or at least start my trades with this rollback team, and get Conan to good win here, then we get the side at a minus 45k, so I need to make up 45k in the next two trades. Now, I did explore doing something of this regard here and getting Hodder just for Woodland, as Woodland's CBAs should go down, and we expect, if we do a DFS search here, that with low CBAs, if this will ever blinking load, that her CBAs going down would mean that she goes down in general in point scoring. Is this going to have Woodland or Saint in the in here? It's going to have Saint, isn't it? So let's just search up Saint. You'll see here with low CBAs, she's back down into the mid 50s. So as you can see here, 24% CBAs for a 68, 35. You can see there, they do start to fall away a little bit last year, but it is mostly, there's a couple of low games in here where she didn't bother scoring against some decent opponents, and she does have the Western Bulldogs this week, which aren't the greatest opponents, even though you see here last year she scored a 38 on them, so I guess it isn't one of her better opponents. If we look at it, Western Bulldogs 3 games for a 50.7 with a 58, a 56, and a 38. So maybe it actually is time for her to, in general, just go up to Hodder, who I think could actually score pretty well. We've already looked at her in the trade targets video and the likes of the other videos. When she does get CBA, she generally does score well. But this is, like, again, another game where you're like, this could go either way. I could easily lose points here. So you're almost banking on the fact that you've got the big midfielders in there, the big defenders in there so far, that they're going to score points. But as you can see here, just looking at, I'm really looking at the top 50 and top 100 teams and just trying to think, where is the differential point here? Too Good's 14 ownership there, so that's almost a differential point. I know she's 11 ownership there, so she's probably realistically about 24, 25 out of the 50. So she's about 50% owned in the top 50. That's still relatively low. You've got Malloy 22% owned. 22 out of 50, so 44% owned. So those two are big, if not differentials in its own right. And then you've got the likes of, and actually just looking at it now, Lauren Young being played in 5 teams, that might mean that she's been played over Too Good in a couple of the teams, which won't happen this week, but just looking at that. But you can see down here, you got Maloney alongside Windows pretty low down here as well. So that's where I'm sort of potentially looking at for trades, is the likes of a Window or the likes of a McDonough or someone of that regard, who are rather low down but also have some ownership. If we just see, I think I saw McDonough here somewhere, or yeah, McDonough here, only owned in the top 1000 by 5 teams, so not really owned there, but some people are wondering if you should own her, grab her. I am sort of thinking now, just looking at it on the surface, of doing this move here, to be honest with you. Woodland could score really well, has the Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs, if we do look at AFLW, we do look at the likes of fixture difficulty, and then run into the round 8 here. And for the rest of the season, let's just do this. And we're at Port Adelaide. The Bulldogs are a minus matchup. Then Brisbane are a minus matchup. Then Hawthorn are a bad matchup. And then Adelaide GWS if we look at the mids for that matchup, you've got Western Bulldogs on -2.3, and the North, you can just see it cross the line. It's just a bad matchup. But yeah, they've got Bulldogs into Brisbane, and then also the likes of, what was that after it? Was it Hawthorn or something? Yeah, Hawthorn after that, which is another minus game. So there are quite a few minus games in there. Whereas if you look at the Hawks for the forward line, and that would be McDonough, you can just see this run of games where she just has easy games against the likes of Fremantle, who are a +1.8. Then you've got the likes of Gold Coast, who are a +6, and then Port Adelaide, Essendon, the next couple. So she's got pretty much an easy run of games. It's just whether does that actually amount to her scoring really well, because her base is sort of that 55 range, so it's not the greatest. If we just look at these 600, 700k forwards, you can see Window against St Kilda scored a 76, and we know midfielder wise, St Kilda are actually a -3.2, so she actually scored really well, and we do expect her to, in general, actually get a little bit better of a role going forward, as that was her first game back after a couple, 6 week off with injury. And if we actually look at the stats for that game, I'm pretty sure she scored most of her points early from memory. She had 30 at quarter time, 45 at halftime, 69 at 3/4 time, and then a 7-point last quarter there. And in the last quarter, she had 83% tog, so was actually still out in the ground. But if they hadn't given up such a bad lead, I think she probably ends up with 80, 85. And I think that mid roll's there to stick. So I think it's one that I'm actually willing to do. And I know this sounds absolutely crazy to do, but I think I'm willing to almost go Maloney and Barnett out. I know Barnett has in the ruck line, if we go to the West Coast matchup here, you can see that they're a +0.8, but I think that'll be a dual ruck, and I think Frederick is in line to potentially take more ruck time. And I just think the Window and the likes of a Too Good's averaging what for the year 71, and then you've got, if we just go to Malloy as well, she's averaging 83 for the year, and I know that's mostly in the last couple of weeks it's been down a little bit. She's had Adelaide, GWS and Collingwood, a couple of losses there. If we do look at fixturing as well for sort of forwards, we'll kind of mirror it a little bit, but you can see North Melbourne -6, Adelaide -5 also, and you've also got where's Collingwood are also on -1, and then GWS as well. If we look at GWS, they are where are they? They're also a dead evens for GWS, so I'm surprised she scored really lowly against GWS, but she's also potentially an option. But let's just look quickly at the likes of Too Good and her potential scoring patterns there. You can see Too Good against North Melbourne went 85, has Melbourne this week. If we just go to fixtures here, you can see Melbourne are at -0.8. And if we go for fixtures for the rest of the year, you can see Essendon are a -1.6 for the rest of the year, and Sydney are a -0.1 for the rest of the year. You'd probably almost be willing to it's just like, do you get Malloy or do you get Too Good this week? Who's going to score higher out of those two? Because I am going to go with, I think, Window, who has the chance of doing that big score. So I think that I'm going to go in the end with Too Good this week, and then we can move Woodland on next week, who I think just had a bad sort of half in general. I think she actually wasn't too bad. After quarter one, she was on 28. Quarter two, she was on 40 at halftime. So then the second half, she had 80% tog for a 7, and then also 79% tog in the fourth quarter for a 4. So I'm willing to bet that was more so just having a shocker half. We've seen it before, and I'm going to move on to go Woodland. Window, Goodwin, and Too Good in for Conan, Barnett, and Maloney. And just, I think that's the best use of my trades, to be honest with you. We will loop the Cos, who I don't think they have an early-ish game from memory. When do they play? They played the third game of the round. So I could, and who else do I have? I've got Rigioni. Reedy's probably still going to play. So who am I going to be able to, I guess, loop through? And it could be just a Bowers VC, I guess, against Hawthorn is my best bet. because I've got to get in and under. And there isn't really anyone that I can get in and under with out of the big five. As Riddell and Garner definitely play after they play Sydney, which covers off Gardner as well. And then you've got the likes of Adelaide for Noffy. So I think that'll be my trade set. This is the most worrying set of trades, I would say, for the round, for the season, I would say, just because Window could easily fail. Woodland could easily fail and be back to sort of a 50s. But I think for this 1 week, just because Malloy has that North Melbourne matchup, this will be the trades that I do. And then next week, I'll be probably trading a Woodland or a Window to the likes of another forward, and maybe even getting 2 of them up, maybe getting like a Woodland and a 2 good up alongside using Dunlop to maybe someone like Malloy, and then also getting a Hodder or something like that, maybe getting a Parry. But I think these are the moves that I'm going for. I'm going for the role-based move rather than the sort of forward that could pop off. So yeah, it's probably the wrong move, but anyway, those are the set of moves that I'm going for. If you did enjoy this video and sort of my explanation, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and I will see you guys back here probably Sunday night into the Monday for the team review to see what mess I probably created with these trades. But anyway, I'll see you guys later. Bye guys.